Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 12th episode of Season 2 of the podcast Society and Stuff with your host, Joseph Iceman. The musical introduction of this podcast is brought to you by Blue Dot Sessions. The name of the song is Celestial Navigation, a really great piece of music that I think fit the mode for this podcast. The topic of this episode is about entrepreneurship. That is why I have a guest. She is the entrepreneur, angel investor, and certified board member on a few engagements. She is the co-founder of the business Ledarloopen, the Leader Loop. That is a leadership program for those who want to strengthen their leadership without adapting away themselves. I say welcome to Maria Fischer. Hello, Maria. How are you?
Hello, Joseph. I'm just fine, thank you. I'm really glad to be on your podcast. Thank you for inviting me.
It is a great pleasure having you on the podcast. Have you been on a podcast before?
I have, actually. The local newspaper, their business section, did a podcast on, a few of my engagement back then, but that is some years now.
Mm. Nice to hear. Yeah. How does it feel being here?
I'm really excited about having this moment to chat a little bit with you and looking forward to answering your questions and have a nice talk about entrepreneurship and leadership.
Yes, definitely. And I'm looking forward to the conversation, really looking forward to it. And as you mentioned, I have a couple of questions that I am going to ask during this dialogue. So we can begin with the first one, or a question. It's a bit of an introduction. If you could tell about yourself. Who is Maria Fischer?
Absolutely. Well, I'm 47 years old. I was born in Colombia, South America, adopted when I was 3 to Sweden. And then I have basically been raised here in Eskilstuna, schooled here, went to the university here, and have worked both in Eskilstuna but other cities, but mainly in the entrepreneurship. It's been focusing on Eskilstuna for the most part.
That's quite a remarkable story to hear. When was it? Which year did you move to Sweden? You said you were originally from Colombia.
Yes. I came to Sweden in 1982, and I was 3 years old when my parents went to Colombia to adopt me.
Wow. 1892. I was not even born yet, but
No, nor in 1982. So it's even 10 years back before that.
Okay.
That's how old I am.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't even started the podcast and we are having fun here. It's good. This is what it's all about. Yeah, but what a remarkable self-titled story. I'd like to hear about from when you came from another country and you came to Sweden, or it was your parents who came to Sweden. And how old were you said?
I was 3 years old, and my parents, I'm adopted. So my father is from Denmark and my mother is from Sweden. So they adopted me from Colombia.
Wow, yeah. And but with what I'm watching, you are doing quite a lot, I would say. You really established a lot of things, and you're still establishing a lot of things. And then that takes us to the first question then of this conversation, and that is, what made you choose to become an entrepreneur?
I've always liked to see how you can enhance, develop, and make things in a new way. And I worked quite a bit of years in social care and social work, and could see that things as they were done could be done in a different way to make it, a little bit new and also somewhat more effective and customer oriented. So I had the opportunity back in 2016 to go in on a joint venture as a co-founder in a company that was running a safe house.
And this was in 2016, you said? Yes. Okay, so you joined the company, or you took over it, or you joined it?
Initially, I joined it and co-founded that part. And then when the other partners wanted or shareholders wanted to do other things, then I took over the company or the business rather, and founded another company that was my own that had a completely new organizational number and everything. So that was Safe Homes and Care.
Yeah. Did you have something else you wanted to add?
No, I think that there's always a possibility and opportunity to make things better and to try new ways. And that is my main drive, and become more customer oriented within the segment that I saw that was not as much as I would have wanted it to.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, then to the next question. Your main focus and work with the entrepreneurship is dedicated to leadership. Why just leadership?
Oh, actually, it is not just leadership, but Ledarloopen, if we're taking that as an example, is a development program for women who are leading others. And I have always thought that, and seen quite a bit in my own business, but also with employees and co-workers, that it is generally hard to juggle the personal arena and the professional arena, because there are a lot of expectations, not only from yourself, those could be the worst ones actually, but from your surroundings and your family and colleagues and management and organization in general. So there's generally a lot of pressure, and leaders put a lot of pressure on themselves. So I felt that that is something where you can really do a change to strengthen and uplift female leaders so they can handle this pressure in a sustainable way.
What you do is remarkable, and it's quite a story. I'm guessing that there is some kind of an experience there that made you to choose that path.
Absolutely. I've seen a lot of, as I mentioned before, I've seen a lot of people around me struggle with expectations, and in some cases, sadly, been subject to burnout and maybe even leaving their professions that they were really good at. So I want to be able to contribute to more sustainable leaders when there are a lot of expectations. The world that we are in now, it's so many changes happen so quickly. You really have to be strong and confident in yourself that you can lead not only your team, but also yourself within that path that you're going down.
You mentioned about sustainable leadership and, well, namely sustainable self-leadership. So that takes us to the next question. Have you met people that lack self-leadership?
I think we are all challenged at some point in our career, and not only just one point. So I think there's always room for development and for strengthening your own self-leadership. But of course, I've met people that are on the very beginning of their journey in that, and I've met people that are more senior in that. But I think that we all, and me too, sometimes struggle with our self-leadership. So it's always an ongoing journey to develop strengths and find new strategies and meet new challenges better equipped.
You mentioned it perfectly, but I'm thinking, have you ever met someone that, you know, with when I say with lacking self-leadership, like they can do things that are questionable? It can be in the workplace, a big company, and etc. And they think that their way is the only way to go. Like, have you met people like that only see their way of working? Yeah,
absolutely. And we all have these individuals around us in our different professional arenas. Generally, they have a high level of specific knowledge, I would say, from my experience, and they are extremely competent in that, and maybe have improvement opportunities and development opportunities within the softer qualities, such as, EQ and meeting and socializing with people, meeting people from where they are and trying to create an interaction that is beneficial for both parts. But I want to add that we all need this mix. So that is why I want to bridge over when you have people that are extremely competent in in their different qualifications and areas, but also that you have these ones that are very, socially skilled and also as well can be very professional and competent in others. But we just have to bridge. It's all about people meeting people and bridge over where we have our challenges maybe, and understand what drives us, because we all have something that drives us. Generally, we want the same, we're aiming for the same goal. We might have different, ideas on how to get there and which strategies to use and what is important, but we have generally the same goal. At least within an organization, it is generally quite well expressed.
Yeah, definitely. If you felt finished and thinking we can move on. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I know you said some good words there. When looking at your social channels, you relate yourself to words like being energetic, stubborn, and extrovert. You later finish with the sentence, "How would you describe me?" Why is that? And is there any purpose with it?
Absolutely. There's almost always a purpose with the things that I post or write. Here, it's a matter of that I have an idea on how I want to be perceived and how I perceive myself. That is reflected in the words that I put down. But I also know that the people around me might perceive me in a different way. And for me to be aware of that and be able to just within reason to how others perceive me, and there's always room for improvement and development. So therefore, I'm always curious about how others perceive me.
What are examples of what others have told you how they perceive you? Like, can you mention some stories of some examples?
Absolutely, I can be, from what I've understood, perceived as quite fast-paced. I have quite a fast pace, and I do things, and a lot of things my surrounding and the people in my surrounding sometimes say. And for me, that's just a way of living, and I am very quick. So it's my natural pace. So that is sometimes I am going at my natural pace, but I could be perceived as I'm, a little bit stressed or, trying to rush things and that. So that is something that I work on constantly to just try to slow down if I meet someone who needs to be met in a slower pace and explain and take my time. I will mention that as a good example. Now I'm really trying to talk quite slowly for this podcast. Otherwise, I have a very quick pace when I'm talking to, and that is something that I often get feedback on.
Okay, so it can get quicker, you mean?
It can get a lot quicker. And especially if I get a little energetic and, there's something that I really want to express or I really want to explain.
I understand. Yeah. So you run the business, Ledarloopen, the leader loop. Can you tell a bit more about the business and its purpose?
Absolutely. I have co-founded Ledarloopen together with my colleagues Enlin Stenman, who is the founder and owner of Stenman Academy, and Pernilla Kuritsa, who's the founder and owner of Honor Your Leadership. We have three very different angles and perspectives that we're coming in with our qualifications and our knowledge. We have created this leadership development program for women that are leading others, to really point out why it's so important to enhance your soft skills and your skills, so you do not have to try to adjust to others' expectations to the extent where you lose track of yourself. That is one of the cores in the program and in the angles that we take. And we always come from the circle of if you've seen the logo, there's like a red dot in the center, and then there are circles going out from the red dot. That's the team, that's the organization, and then it's the organization within, the segment that it's operating in. So the center is always the leader, and how, in this case now, we will most likely adapt it to not just being targeting women, but for now we've decided that it is for women, how the female leader can lead with all her qualifications and be strengthened in that they are absolutely enough. It's just a matter of how to make that seen, heard, and integrated with the team and the organization's goals.
Yeah, and that is a very important aspect. Definitely. Yeah.
Because we have seen that there is a lot of expectations, not only from the surrounding and the colleagues and the team, but also from yourself. you have a lot generally of expectations on yourself. And sometimes you have to put them together and look at them actually. And how can my qualifications, where I know that I'm good, be enhanced and uplifted, so I can see that this is my superpowers, in the sense of I lead with this, and that is what it should be all the way through.
Do you have like an example of a breakthrough story, or maybe in general breakthroughs happen when you give support to these women? I'm thinking with the leadership.
I would say that once you actually realize that your skills, and it's a matter of that how you use them, because you have been employed at this position, or you have come to this position, or this in your business. So that means that you have done a lot of things right. Your qualification has taken you a long way. And sometimes you doubt yourself a little bit, maybe, or sometimes you have expectations that it is like that in life. You cannot always meet the expectations. And then it's so important to be, confident in that I have done as much as I could with my abilities and my different circumstances. That is more than enough, and I will be able to lead this team in that, as long as I'm true to myself. I see that my strengths have taken us this far, and it will take us all the way too.
Something else you want to add?
Yes. Not at this point, I think, but I think that Ledarlupen will, for many female entrepreneurs, also be a tool that you can use throughout your journey. It's not just when you start. You can, because as I said earlier, we all have the moments and situations where we actually doubt our own leadership, our self-leadership, our qualifications, our skills. And that is a natural thing. And you just have to have the right tools to overcome that. And the more you have and the more you practice on it with good tools, then the easier it will become.
Would you say that it is the same for men? It's the same for men, or maybe men, they do not have that insight of lacking, because a lot of, you read a lot of news and so that are spreading around the world about, these people with higher power and who lack a lot of self-leadership and so. And would you say that it goes, both ways, as same for men as for women? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
I think we still have a way to go on that, because there are two factors that I think are mainly there. And we're back with expectations. I think there are a lot of men that sometimes doubt themselves, but society is not really prone to allow that. We are getting there, and that is good. But I think that it's also, sadly, sometimes more common that a man can say, no, we will try this and we'll do this, while a woman, a female leader, might be more prone to, not always, but might be more prone to, no, I have to test it. I cannot let it go before it's, completely reliable. And I know that I can predict a good outcome. That is, I think we've seen a lot of examples on throughout history. And sometimes that is good. Sometimes that is not good. Both ways are good. But I think when there are inhibitions because you're not trusting yourself, and you maybe do not dare to take that chance or take that step, then for anyone, male or female, I think Ledarlupen could be a very good tool for, strengthening yourself and actually trying to give the tools to take those steps that you might not have. Can be able to put those doubts aside, or people's comments or feedback or anything that can inhibit you to do what you know in your core is the right thing and that you are really competent.
Yeah, and then we can move on. Politics. It's also one of the main things that is a burning passion for you, I notice. So you are also engaged in the political party Liberalerna, the Liberals, in Eskilstuna, where you live. What made you choose to become involved with politics?
That's a very interesting question, because it's fairly recently that I did that. I've been, maybe also one of my inhibitions, that I was thinking that I don't know much about politics, and that is not for me. But when I realized that politics is basically everything in a society, from the streets, from the care sector, from everything. And I do have a lot of ideas and a lot of not only ideas, but suggestions on how things could be run in another way. Then I realized that maybe politics is something where I can contribute. And then I was actually approached in a sense. So I said, okay, let me read up a little bit on this party because as I said, I didn't have an extensive knowledge on any party really before. So I read up a little bit and felt that, well, there are a lot of, core values that I can connect with within Liberalerna, such as the care sector, the school sector, things that are people's right to do and live as they want to, HBTQI plus rights, and also that it should be much easier to become an entrepreneur. Because I think in Sweden, we have a journey to make to encourage people and facilitate for people to be entrepreneurs and try their ideas. And that I felt that Liberalerna was a party that was quite centered in the middle, and I could relate and can stand by a lot of their questions. And then I also thought, let's try this. Let me learn something new.
Yeah.
So that was one of these two, of course.
Yeah, it's good. You want to try things. Yeah, it's good. And you mentioned about LGBTQIA plus that community, and but it also for thinking for individuals with neuropsychiatric disabilities as well. So like there are, because you mentioned about you wanted to do something regarding schools and the school system. So what specifically is it with the schools that you feel needs a change?
There are a lot of things, but mainly I think I can see that from when my children were small and were in preschool and elementary school, a lot of changes has come into place. But I still see that we have a long way to go. We have to have a school where every individual, every child, again, back to the ledarlupen, can feel that my qualifications, my personality traits, my whatever I have is valuable. And I will have this to bring. And in the right setting, that will be something that is very, very valuable and becomes a cog in the wheel. Because if we try to put everyone into the same frame, we will lose a lot of people, and those individuals will suffer. And society will also suffer when they cannot contribute to their full capacity.
Absolutely. We do hear a lot of stories about what happens when these individuals get left out of society and, are not integrated with society. So, yeah, it's sad. It is. But it's a good thing that there are those like you who want to make that, change, who want to see a change. And
and also be willing to go in there and actually drive and push for that change. Because I think that is me before. I could see a lot of challenges, but at that point in time, it wasn't. I was not actively engaging in that for some reason that I felt that maybe I don't know enough about inhibitions. I don't know enough about politics and so on. So I think that is, if something I want to send across, is that there are a lot of things that you don't know a lot about, but once you start opening the door or open the book or, getting into those contexts, you will find fairly quickly that most of the things are figure outable. That is actually one of my colleagues in Ledarlupen, her favorite quote, and it's her own quote, that everything is figure out. You will find a way generally to handle situations that come to you.
You felt finished?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Speaking of valuable, you are even engaged in the foundation Stiftelsen Maria Pils Minne, Maria Pil Memorial Foundation, a foundation for female leaders and entrepreneurs to take their place in different contexts. What made you choose to become involved with that foundation and in charity work in general?
In general, I've always had a warm heart for reaching out and doing for others, put others good, not above my own always, but also I should always be there. And how can I contribute to society and to others that maybe don't have as much in different aspects? Doesn't have to be financial. How can I uplift and help people? So with the foundation Stiftelsen Maria Pils minne. I have not founded it in that sense, in no way. It's a foundation that was founded by a local entrepreneur that his wife died in cancer, and in her memory and honor, he founded this foundation. And every year they nominate 10 top candidates of local profiles that have some sort of connection to Eskilstuna within either leadership, entrepreneurship, or board work. And I have been nominated as that top candidate 2 years back. So that
Congratulations.
Thank you. Not, I didn't win, but it's always an honor to be among them. Yes, this year they are celebrating their 10-year anniversary. So now I think there are closer to 100 women that have been nominated throughout the years. Anyway, I can really stand behind that and think that it is a good cause. And as we've been talking about before, it is very important to uplift and support and put light on female entrepreneurship, leadership, and female, also women in board work, professional board work, because we are sadly underrepresented in those arenas, and we need to come to the tables on equal terms. And that can only be done when we actually put the spotlight on it and we discuss how do we, bridge over, how do we create the paths. So that is why my passion is with that, and I support it fully. And I have co-created with Elin and Pernilla, who are also my partners in Ledarlopen, Women Business Day. That was under the umbrella Stiftelsen Maria Pils minne. And that was a day and a concept for entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, to try to connect them better and create an increase in their businesses and how they make business together and with others. So that was a really fun concept. And we come back again that trying new things, developing new concepts, that is really a passion of mine, which I will always try to do wherever I come.
That's great to hear, and what a heartwarming story. What's the name of it? Was a guy who created this foundation? What was his name?
Yes, it was Roger Pil.
Roger Pil, yeah.
Roger Pil and his wife Maria, who died far too young.
How old was she?
I'm not sure exactly. I think in her early 40s or late 30s.
Yeah, that's young. That's young. Yeah. No, it's very beautifully done, definitely, to honor her and to create that foundation. Absolutely.
Yes. And to uplift and put focus on women who are leaders in entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. Absolutely, that as well. Now, all of the aspects of that foundation, definitely. Yeah. We can move on to the next question. Yeah. Now, when we met at a Rotary gathering. You are a Rotarian, I'm a Rotarian. And so it was I think, half year ago it was approximately. Was it in spring last year, I think, or summer, something like that, when the Rotary Club, Värmdö Skärgård, Värmdö Archipelago Rotary Club, had this interesting speaker, Michael Dahlén. Yeah, it was very interesting. That is where we two met. And so if we move on to the next question, Rotary is a global network with many individuals that want to do good in the world. You are also a Rotarian. What made you become a Rotarian?
I think we are back in that now, since that I didn't know much about Rotary when I was approached and invited to come for a lunch meeting. And I was thinking, okay, this is something new. I don't know. I read up a little bit on it just quickly and said that, okay, these seems like they have quite good values. I like what they stand for. I like, that you want to create their peace work. I like the idea on ending polio, which is almost successful. And I like the idea on mothers and children. All the pillars that they have, the 7 pillars, I could stand by. And that made me curious. But it's always about, again, people meeting people. So when I went to the local club, Eskilstuna Rotary Club, which actually I'm now also the president of for this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Then I decided that this feels nice. There was a very welcoming environment. People were very friendly, curious, and invited me beautifully into the club. So I decided that let me try this. And that is, again, once I try, and if I like it, I will try to give all I can back to the organization or the people that I meet, and try to help and contribute to develop and enhance if I can, as long as I have the capacity. So that said, as I said, it's 3 years now, and I've done quite well. I've been on the program committee. I'm now the president. I'm also the district chair for the Rotary Youth
Wow.
Exchange, which is really,
Wow.
really rewarding too. And it's so much fun to meet the young exchange students from all the cultures and countries around the globe and see all their energy and everything. So it has given me so much, and I really would like to give back all I can.
Yeah, yeah. We also have that in our club. I'm the current president of the Rotary Club Stockholm Global City. We have one who is we have a club member who is she is the president for the Rotary Youth Exchange student program in our club then, and it's very, as you mentioned, it is rewarding, and I think it does a lot seeing these young students, coming to the country, learning the culture and learning different new things, definitely. And there are two mottos that Rotary stands for, and that is the first one is service above self, and then we have people of action. I'm thinking you are definitely the definition of, I would say, people of action, because you do a lot, and I really mean a lot. It's it's good to see that you have a burning interest with what you are doing, and it's very inspiring. It's very inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah. We can move on to the next question. Yeah. You have probably met upcoming leaders and so, and you run the Ledarloop and the Leader Loop. So do you have any advice to upcoming leaders?
I think it's always important to carry, the knowledge and the insight that you will encounter challenges. That is, part of life, and definitely part of entrepreneurship. I generally say that if you want problems and want to solve problems given any time of the day, basically, then you become an entrepreneur. But it has a beauty in it, because the more you do it, the more you practice, the more self-confident you will find yourself, and you will have solutions, and you will draw on your experiences. I had this situation and I solved it like that, or I had this contact that helped me. So it will become easier. But I think when you stand there and you feel literally, because even as I wasn't that young when I started my businesses, but as a young entrepreneur, meaning that you're new within that, then you will find it quite overwhelming at times. But reach out to your network, because you have generally a lot of good people around you, and use that network. Ask for help. People are glad to help if you ask.
Do you sometimes experience that when you mentioned about asking someone and, not being afraid of asking for help and support? And so do you feel that sometimes when you ask people, like, can you help me with this or that, you do not get a reply to that? Why is that, would you say? What impact can that have?
Of course, if you reach out and you don't get an answer, or you have difficulties in finding someone who can help you, absolutely, that can be not encouraging, of course. But I think that, we live in a fast-paced world. We'll talk about that before. Everything changes very quickly. People, in my experience at least, have a genuine desire to try to help. Then is it always that they have the opportunity, the time, and the resources there, here and now? That is not a given. But I think that don't feel that you have been rejected, or that you are, your questions are out of place or whatever. Find a new path. Because if anything, I think what defines an entrepreneur is that when you have a bump in the road, or there you have like what seems like a dead end, then it's for you to ask yourself, okay, challenge, how do I solve it? How do I move around or above this obstacle? And that, I think, is the difference, what defines an entrepreneur from someone who doesn't have that drive. I will not say it ability, because I think abilities competences you can get and achieve, and you can work for them, is there, and that is within you, and that you can spark. if you don't have it. But you have to have something that is driving you.
Well, you have a couple of businesses that you run or either are a partner in or so. And if we move on to the next question, then you also run the business, let's see if I can pronounce this correct, AGOG, AB, where you are a partner. Can you tell a bit more about the business and its purpose?
Yes, I can. But the best guy to ask is actually Philip, who's the co-founder and the original, drive and the engine behind AGOG. So the thing is that he has a drive to make it facilitate for people who want to learn. And again, we're back in core values for me. To make people come out and shine with their competences and their circumstances and what they have with them, their resources. So he decided that he would create a system for micro-learning initially, but in the end, it has come out something completely different from it, I would say. Now he's a software developer. So now he's developed a learning management system for organizations to keep track on, to build their own courses, to, educate their staff or train their staff, and also for people in an organizations to always have access to policies, education, training, videos, and things like that, to make it a lot easier to keep on track and have an organization that is agile and can easily be trained in a new thing. So that is the drive. And I saw Philip not only in his entrepreneurial journey, but a very young guy when I met him 3 years back. And I felt that he has again, with the entrepreneurship, he has a drive. He has met a few obstacles. He will find a way through that. And I felt that, okay, I want to be a part of this. And I also believed in the idea, of course. So that was why I decided that I would go in and help and support with what I could. But he is the one behind the keyboard and
Okay. So we do not mix up any misunderstand anything here. And maybe he should have been invited as well.
Yeah, we will do another episode, him and me. Yeah, that is actually quite fun. We have a lot of fun. But I do a lot of business development in the company and sales and a lot of networking connections. But he is the one who's sitting with his headphones on ear and programming, like you would see in the movies. We played with the slogan, "You're socially awkward tech guy."
You're socially awkward tech guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that are really from, at least that I met so far, we're back again, that they can be super competent on their skills, but then they have other areas where they can develop or might feel insecure about. And then it's all about bridging.
Yeah. If we continue with your business path, you are a founder and an owner of the business AIM by Fischer. Can you tell a bit more about the business and its purpose?
Yeah. AIM by Fischer is literally more to collect and, combine all my engagements into one business where I can, have my own trademark under. So it started off as people were telling me, well, you do a lot of things. What do you do exactly? And I was thinking, well, what do I do exactly? But then I tried to nail it down to, okay, I do consulting often. I do business development and I do investments on a certain level. So then I decided I should have an umbrella that I could put everything under. So that was the reason for creating AIM by Fischer. So that is basically the trademark.
Short and
AIM. Yeah, AIM stands for Angel Investments and Management, but it also has the underlying meaning. You aim for something, you have a goal, you have a drive.
That's catchy. That's smart. It's catchy. Yeah. Angel investment and engagement, you said.
Management. Angel investments and management.
And management. Yeah. AIM by Fischer, that you have an aim for. Good idea. Great idea. Yeah. Definitely. I'm thinking we can move on to the next question. So there are two kinds of entrepreneurial purposes, just entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship. What made you become a social entrepreneur as well?
I think it's my background in social care and social work. And it's not only in my professional life. It's been with me since I was young. From as long as I can remember, I've always been on the school committees, on different organizations. I was looking over a few clips, and I saw that when I was 18, I had founded an organization for adopted youngsters together with another friend of mine here in Eskilstuna. And we actually ran that with some 25 young children, and not adolescents, but youngsters that we had for a couple, like 3 or 4 years or something like that. And that also took me to a national engagement within Adoptionscentrum, the organization that had been involved in my adoption. So I can see that there's always been a drive to, create, develop, to contribute with value and things for people that might need. Again, it's not only financial, it's a lot more than that. Just, lift up things that I have identified needs to be lifted up.
Yeah, great. No, I've checked out your LinkedIn, and you have a lot of experiences within social care. So yeah.
There's actually one thing, if I may, that we've not talked about that I do want to lift up, and that is
Absolutely.
my foundation that I founded together with 5 other network colleagues, and that is the Stiftelsen för insatsskyddat boende in Swedish. I will translate that, or a foundation for people who have lived or are living in safe houses due to some sort of threat. Could be domestic violence, could be, that they are witness protection, they're leaving a gang criminal lifestyle, and they have some sort of need for protection because they have a threat hanging over them. So that is one foundation that I'm really proud that we have founded 4 years back. It will turn 4 years this year. And we are working actively on creating opinion and making changes to the better for more qualitative and professional caregivers and organizations that can provide this support, which can be life changing and are in many cases. So that is something that I really want to uplift too. We have the entrepreneurial side of me, of course. That is a very strong, thing and side. But we also have the social care and social work. They have come together beautifully throughout my professional life, I can see now.
That's great to hear. And you mentioned about, in society and in the world, gang-related issues and criminal behavior, and so it is sad. Fortunately, it exists until this day. You hear and see a lot of things, but it's great that there are those like you who want to do something about that. Thinking if you felt finished, we can move on to the next question, and then we have reached the very last question of this interview. So how would you describe your perfect society in accordance with great leadership?
But I think it's all about creating sustainable leaders. And creating sustainable leaders for me means that you have to take each individual qualification and personality and uplift it and create the circumstances that this individual can come to their very best, come out and perform to their very best. Once we can do that, everyone will be able to contribute to their fullest capacity. And that is something that society will really gain from. And moreover, individuals will feel that they are an important cog in the wheel and that their contribution is valuable. And that is one of the best things to make someone feel that they have a place and they are someone that other people need. So I think for that, a great leader for me is someone who can uplift, identify the qualifications and strengths, see situations where they can come in and perform good and uplift that and create organizations where those different traits and strengths from the different team individuals align and are built in together for the organization scope, to meet the organization scope. Be that an organization as the society or a corporate business or whatever kind of organization we are talking about.
Great. Anything else you would like to add?
No, I'm just really glad this hour went by really quickly, actually.
Yeah. That was the very last question of this interview and this discussion. I would like to thank you, Maria, for taking your time being on this podcast episode about entrepreneurship. It was a great pleasure having you here. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure, and thank you for inviting me.
That's nice to hear. And we will probably get in touch.
I hope so. At least in some Rotary. I might come over. You have an e-club, but you should come down to Eskilstuna and visit us on Friday.
It's a bit further away, but Friday, lunch meetings on Friday. Ooh. Our club is a hybrid meeting club. So so you can be on site, and also if you cannot participate, you can also participate online.
Oh, that's
but in Eskilstuna, you only see each other on site. Like you only have on-site meetings.
We actually do for now, because I have lifted the question whether they wanted to do it hybrid, but we've not come that far. Again, you plant the seed and you will see. Maybe it will not grow and do that during my year, but maybe it will come in another year. And who knows, I might come back in a couple of years or 10, 15 years. I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah.
It's all about the group as well. They have to feel that they are confident and comfortable with whatever we decide. So for this point, we have not had the demand for it. So then I will not try to enforce it.
So I wish you well, and I really wish you all the best with your engagements and the path with your businesses.
Thank you.
We will probably get in touch. So thank you, and goodbye.
Thank you, and bye to you.
Thanks.